Hello guys, I'm Muhammad Adeleke. What are we talking about today is quarterly planning framework of successful entrepreneur. A couple of weeks, a lot of people are talking about the new year. When I say a couple of weeks, that's about 12, 15 months ago, 15 weeks ago. A lot of people are talking about the new year. But now, everybody has forgotten about the new year. We are already in the new year. But what matters is that for your new year resolution, depending on the type of calendar you are using, how far have you gone? It's easy to have resolution, it's easy to have goals and targets. Most of them are actually dreams if you don't have a blueprint on how to achieve that. So what I'll be talking about today is quarterly planning framework for really successful businesses. Because when I say really successful businesses, then it means you have to look at the business of different perspective. Because when your business is successful, it's not about, because most people look at business success from the traditional way, which is how much money are you making in terms of revenue. But when we talk about really successful businesses, we look at it from three different dimensions. Those are the four different dimensions using what we call the balance scorecard framework. Balance scorecard framework. So we look at it from the financial perspective, which is what most people look at. Then we also look at it from the customer and stakeholder perspective. Then we also look at it from the internal process perspective. Then the last one, which is the most important, is when it comes to the area of your capacity of innovation. Is very important, because sometimes you go to a bank and perhaps that bank is the second most successful bank for the year, or the best bank for the year, or the third best bank for the year, and you see customer queuing. It means that bank has only succeeded in the area of their books. But in terms of customer are not well satisfied. If customers are not satisfied, then perhaps the employees are not also satisfied. Because if you take care of the employee very well, then that will cascade down to your customer. They treat your customer very well. I'll give you another analogy that will make this to also sink. Is the story of BlackBerry. BlackBerry was a very successful company in their days, the same way Nokia was very successful. But then BlackBerry was among the top 10 companies in the world. But now, BlackBerry is not even among the top 10,000. What did BlackBerry miss out is innovation. What did BlackBerry miss out is innovation. Same thing applies to Nokia. Nokia was also a very successful company. But what they miss out is also innovation. So that is why it's always good that when you are looking at reviewing your business, it's good to look at it from different perspectives. Financial perspective, customer and other stakeholder. You also look at it from the innovation perspective and the team perspective, that is your staff. Look at what happened in the NSAS. When we have the NSAS palaver, it's actually a stakeholder issue. When we are doing normal stakeholder meeting, we don't consider the guys on the street as part of the stakeholder. But when the NSAS happen, we know the importance of the people on the street. So it's always good that we look at it from different perspectives. And this balance scorecard framework is also very important. It can be used even for the government sector. But in terms of the government sector, we don't consider the traditional look of success, which is majorly the finance. We look at it about the citizen. Are they well taken care of? The audience, are they well taken care of when we want to use it from the non-profit perspective? So the idea now is that if you are planning for this quarter, don't look at you planning for your finance, your target, setting financial target only. You set financial target only, but you don't have target for other aspects of your business, customer, your internal processes, other stakeholder and innovation, then you are not going to meet your target easily. If you meet your target easily, what is a good strategy now in the next 6 months, 3 months can be a very bad strategy. The same way BlackBerry was growing, they don't have any issue. But because they are not considering innovation, they are not serious about innovation. That is why they failed. So these are some of the framework that really successful businesses actually look at, because it's possible you make millions of naira in revenue and you are not profitable. So that is why when we look at the balanced scorecard perspective, we don't only consider your revenue, we also consider your profit. We look at revenue from one aspect. You also look at how profitable are you, because it's possible you increase your revenue but your profit reduces. But if you look at finance in terms of increasing revenue and also increasing your profit, then you'll be able to have something that is more strategic and more holistic. And the same way when you go for hospital, when you have an issue, medical, you go for hospital, the first thing they check, there is a basic test they do for you anytime you go to hospital, basic test. So it's also good as a business owner, you use this type of scanning to go through your business every quarter. That is the previous quarter. When you are planning for the upcoming quarter, then you can now cascade it into monthly targets and weekly targets. Maybe in subsequent session we'll talk deeper about balanced scorecard, but I'm just trying to give us in a way that is very basic so you can understand the fundamental aspect that when planning for our business, you should not plan only from the financial perspective, because if your employee are well trained, if you invest worthwhile amount of money and put worthwhile attention into research and development, what will happen? Your internal processes will improve, turnaround time will reduce, you increase customer satisfaction, and once customer satisfaction is increased, your employee are if your employee are well trained, they are better motivated. If your internal processes are improved, then automatically you make more sales, and if you make more sales, automatically you make more profit if your internal processes are actually improved. So when you are looking at business, it's good you look at this balance. You can look at it from the balanced scorecard perspective. Then at the same time, when you are planning for the quarter, you also leverage on SWOT, using SWOT framework. Then of course everybody knows what is the meaning of SWOT. Let me call it at the shallow level. When I say shallow level, is when you use SWOT, that is strength, weakness, opportunity, and strength and threat. Strength, you're supposed to follow through here. So SWOT simply means your strength, your weakness, your opportunity, and threat. Of course, the first two part of it is internal, while two part of it is external. For example, your strength is internal, your weakness is internal, but your opportunity and threat, those ones are external. But if you want to look at SWOT in a more deeper level, it's now be SWOT plus S. It's actually a framework in management, because I'm a professional in management consulting. So if you now look at SWOT plus strategy, but in this case now we'll not look at SWOT vis-a-vis the first perspective of balanced scorecard straight. The first perspective, the four perspective of balanced scorecard. Then in terms of finance, what are your strengths when it comes to financial aspects? What are your weaknesses? Then you also apply the same thing for innovation. What are your strengths in terms of innovation? What are your weaknesses in terms of innovation? Then in terms of your capacity building, learning and growth, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? So if you now combine SWOT with looking at your business from different perspectives, now scanning, look at the opportunity, the threat, you can be able to come up with some better strategy in actually moving your business forward. Then looking at SWOT and going deeper is you can look at how to convert some of your threats, your weakness to opportunity. For example, if you want to expand and you don't have enough money to expand, expanding is an opportunity for you, but your challenge, your weakness to expand is because you don't have enough money. What do? You can try to do strategic partnership with another business that is already in that location you are looking at to test on the market. Or if it's something you can offer online, then you can start virtual version of it to actually test on the idea. Once you get some feedback from the virtual perspective, then you can now go deeper into the physical. Or you can decide to do a lot of video tutorial about the concept. What matters is for you to understand the framework. Then you customize it to your own situation accordingly. The other thing that is also very important you can also consider is use 80-20. But when you are using 80-20, you look at it from 3 P's. 80-20 principle from the 3P perspective. Let me first explain 80-20. 80-20 simply means that 20% of our effort give us 80% of the results. It applies to client, it applies to staff, it applies to a lot of things. But the 80-20 principle simply means the world always shakes down to top 20 superstar, middle 60 forgettable, and bottom 20 sandbag. So because of that, you look at your people. Who are the top 20% of your people? Maybe in terms of vendor, of staff, of employee, of even friend that give 80% of the result. Focus more on them. Then when you talk about profit, look at your profit centers. Look at your finances. Look at the key areas where you make money from. Then focus on the 20% of those areas that bring in the 80% of the results. Then you apply the same thing to productivity also. So if you merge 80-20 with 3P, use SWOT with looking at this from the different first perspective of business, that is the balanced scorecard framework, you'll be able to better plan for your business.